Hey there, this is the Gaming Cowboy, here to answer a question you have had on your mind since birth. Can I have a historical RTS set in the ancient world, but blow up my enemy's town with a giant exploding fire puppy at the same time?
Something?
Okay, so you may not have had that question, but I am here to answer it anyway, by introducing you to Age of Mythology Retold. Age of Mythology Retold is a remaster of the classic real-time strategy game that came out back in 2002. Why does everything I love now remind me that I am aging? This is a spin-off of the RTS juggernaut series, Age of Empires, that throws in minotaurs, hydras, and the literal powers of the gods for you to throw around with zero regard for collateral damage. But does this 22-year-old title still hold up, and does this remaster successfully update it for the modern age? And will this stupid ship stop stabbing my dock? Let's find out! Let's get the main thing out of the way. Does the remaster look nice? Yup. The new look for all the factions and their units is fantastic, especially the human troops, which have great shading and coloring on them to make them feel more alive. The mythical units also got a huge makeover, with scales, armor plating, and even fur now standing out more. Look at the skyscraper-sized doggo, don't you want to pet it? The landscape also got a nice update, making grass, snow, and mountains really pop out. The water especially looks incredible, although that may not be a good thing overall, because it is unfortunately so pretty that I get distracted by it for so long that I miss the fact that my navy just got turned into matchsticks. This is a perfect example of how a remaster should look. Be very pretty and wonderful to look at, but not screw up the art design that made it stand out in the first place. Halo CEA. On the surface, it does look like the gameplay is around the same as the other Age of Empires titles. Collect resources, build a city, build an army, then fling them at the person you don't like because they said your face looks funny. Age of Mythology throws a wrench into this with the presence of the Pantheons for the Greeks, Egyptians, Norse, and the Atlanteans. This comes in two forms: god powers and myth units. Myth units are the most simple to understand. They are the creatures that made you think that the people of the ancient world went on a constant cocaine binge. Seriously, Egypt has things such as a scorpion man and a cobra with wings. Whatever the hell they were taking, I want some. God powers are where the fun and creativity comes in, increasing in strength and power each time you age up with your chosen chief deity. They can range from speeding up farming with a magical rainstorm to a literal black hole. Okay, I must have missed that chapter in the Odyssey. This is where one of the biggest changes in the Retold version comes in. God powers are now reusable instead of just a one-time use. The only thing is that they now gain in cost every time you want to use them. One of the larger changes is now how wonders work. Instead of just being a big expensive paperweight that makes you win, it now unlocks a new 5th age, creatively called the Wonder Age. I still have not figured out why they call it that. Once the Wonder Age is reached, your god powers are far cheaper, and your already strong Titan, which is the ultimate myth unit that you can unlock, is made even stronger to the point it is almost impossible to kill. These gameplay updates make Retold far more engaging to play, and there is no denying the fact that causing an eclipse or making your units bronze is just really fun. The four factions still maintain the diversity that made them so fun to play in the original game, and now with the updated gameplay mechanics and the now reusable god powers, they are far more fun to play now than before. This is one of the few RTS games where there is no faction I can look out and say, I don't like you. The Greeks are still the most basic and easy to understand faction, the best to play if you are just starting the game or are just a really big fan of the Iliad. They give a nice balance with the strength of their human units, myth units, and heroes. If you are starting out with Age of Mythology, or are just starting RTS games in general, I'd pick these guys. They may be vanilla, but that doesn't mean that they're bad. If you want something a little more complex, or just want to piss off Anakin Skywalker, then Egypt is the perfect choice for you. You have a special leader unit, the Pharaoh, that you can use to buff building construction, unit production, your self-confidence, and resource income. The only downside with him, though, is that if he dies, that's it. You can't get another one, so you really need to protect him. You can also have priests that can build obelisks to help with scouting because they have a huge line of sight, as well as heal your troops and fling magic bullshit at myth units. Egypt is just kind of a weird faction to play in my opinion, and if you really like myth units, then I would go with them more often than most. The Norse will probably throw you for a loop the first time playing them because they flip the roles of your units around completely. Villagers can only build a few buildings like houses and farms, and you have dwarves to gather gold for you, and finally, your military units are actually the ones who build the rest of your stuff. Not only that, their resource drop-off points are mobile, allowing your economy to expand quickly without having to create a lot of drop-off structures. And lastly, the Norse gods are just cool, and one can give you a literal dragon. What more can I say? Oh yeah, and the exploding fire puppy. Finally, we have the Atlanteans, and to be quite frank, I am not the best person to talk about them. This is mainly because I can't really figure them out, aka I suck at playing them. They don't really build many buildings, the resources they gather just automatically get collected with 0 drop-off buildings, their myth units are all powerhouses, but they also have great human units, so I am not really sure what their focus is. Their navy was the only thing that stuck out to me, since it seemed to be the best overall with some really kick-ass myth units in the water. I'm still trying to get used to these guys, so let me know in the comments what you think about them. I got nothing. Still, all 4 of these factions, as well as all the deities you can pick, make for a crap ton of replay value. Unfortunately, I did run into some standout issues while playing, mainly being in the form of technical problems. The audio had a habit of either randomly cutting out, which coincided with the game stuttering hard, as well as the music sometimes playing twice, making a really weird soundtrack. What makes this worse is the fact that these were not isolated issues. They happened constantly, and they pulled me out of my excitement for a second every time they happened. Finally, while the campaign is still fun to play, the voice acting is still decent at its best. But when it gets bad, it is incredibly noticeable.
A gate? What do you think is behind it?
I don't know, but if our Cyclops friend wants to open it, I think we want it to stay closed.
With those problems, however, and since the audio and stuttering are fixable issues, I will still give Age of Mythology Retold the score of Rodeo Star. It is overall a fantastic remaster of an RTS classic that still shows that it can flex its muscles even 22 years later. I really need to stop reminding myself all the stuff I like is now old. Thank you so much for watching. This review was a lot shorter than the others I have made simply because this is a remaster of a game that has been around for a while. Not a whole lot to talk about. But there was enough there for some good talking points as well as things that if you squint really hard you can call jokes. Still, I hope you enjoyed this review. And the next review will be one blessed by the God Emperor himself. Y'all, have a good one.